Javier Milei's economic platform, central to his political vision for Argentina, is anchored in three key areas: deregulation, tax cuts, and privatization. Each of these aspects reflects his libertarian ethos and draws inspiration from free market principles. This chapter provides an in-depth analysis of these proposals, exploring their potential impacts on the Argentine economy. 1. Deregulation, unshackling the economy. Milei advocates for significant deregulation of the economy, arguing that current regulations stifle innovation, entrepreneurship, and economic growth. His proposal involves simplifying legal frameworks, reducing bureaucratic barriers for businesses, and eliminating red tape that hinders market entry and competition. The potential benefits include increased business activity, higher investments, and innovation. However, concerns arise regarding environmental protection, consumer rights, and worker safety in the absence of stringent regulations. 2. Tax cuts, stimulating growth through fiscal policy. Milei proposes substantial tax cuts as a means to stimulate economic growth, increase disposable income for individuals and businesses, and attract foreign investment. His plan includes lowering income taxes, corporate taxes, and eliminating various levies and duties perceived as obstacles to economic activity. While tax cuts could lead to immediate economic stimulation, there are concerns about the long-term fiscal sustainability, particularly how public services and government obligations would be funded with reduced revenue. 3. Privatization, a shift to private sector efficiency. A central tenet of Milei's economic strategy is the privatization of state-owned enterprises, which he views as inefficient and a burden on the state's finances. This approach is intended to improve efficiency, reduce public debt, and inject dynamism into sectors traditionally managed by the government. However, privatization raises questions about monopolies, price controls, and the accessibility of essential services for lower-income segments of the population. 4. Economic and social ramifications. The cumulative effect of these policies could lead to a more competitive and less constrained economic environment. Potential social implications include disparities in wealth distribution and access to services, which need to be addressed through transitional policies and safety nets. 5. Challenges and risks. Implementing such sweeping changes requires careful consideration of potential risks, including market volatility, social backlash, and the transitional costs associated with restructuring the economy. The balance between stimulating economic growth and ensuring social welfare is delicate and demands a nuanced approach. 6. International examples and precedents. Comparative analysis of similar economic reforms in other countries, assessing their outcomes and relevance to the Argentine context. In conclusion, Javier Milei's economic proposals of deregulation, tax cuts, and privatization represent a bold shift towards a market-driven economy. While these measures promise to invigorate the Argentine economy by fostering a more favorable business environment, they also carry potential risks and challenges that must be carefully managed to ensure inclusive and sustainable growth. This chapter provides a comprehensive overview of Milei's economic agenda, examining its potential impacts and the delicate balance it seeks to strike in transforming Argentina's economic landscape. In the context of Javier Milei's economic proposals, it becomes essential to understand how they align with Ayn Rand's objectivist principles, particularly regarding economic freedom. This chapter delves into the core tenets of objectivism as they pertain to economic policy, analyzing how Milei's vision for Argentina resonates with these ideals. 1. The moral basis of economic freedom. Ayn Rand posited that economic freedom is a moral imperative, stemming from the right of individuals to pursue their own interests and happiness. Objectivism views capitalism as the only moral economic system because it respects individual rights and allows for voluntary exchange and cooperation. Milei's advocacy for deregulation, tax cuts, and privatization reflects this moral stance, emphasizing the right of individuals and businesses to operate free from excessive government control. 2. Capitalism and individual rights. Objectivism argues that a truly free market, where transactions are voluntary and property rights are respected, is the ultimate expression of individual rights. Milei's economic platform, particularly his emphasis on reducing state intervention, aligns with this principle by advocating for an environment where individuals can trade and compete freely. 3. The role of government in objectivism. Rand's philosophy limits the role of government to the protection of individual rights, which translates economically to protecting property rights, enforcing contracts, and preventing fraud. Milei's proposals to reduce the size and scope of government reflect this view, focusing on a state that intervenes minimally in economic affairs. 4. Economic freedom and prosperity. Rand believed that economic freedom was essential for creativity, innovation, and progress. In her view, a laissez-faire economy leads to technological advancement and general prosperity. Milei's proposals are predicated on the belief that reducing government control over the economy will unleash entrepreneurial energy and lead to greater overall wealth and progress. 5. Challenges to objectivist economics. Implementing objectivist economic principles in the modern state, including Argentina, faces challenges. These include balancing market freedom with social welfare and addressing concerns like income inequality and environmental protection. Milei's approach will need to navigate these challenges, finding ways to maintain economic freedom while addressing the societal needs of a diverse population. 6. The practical application in Argentina. The chapter will also explore how the application of objectivist economic principles in Argentina's unique socio-economic context could play out, considering historical precedents and current challenges. In summary, this chapter outlines the philosophical underpinnings of economic freedom as envisioned by Ayn Rand, and how Javier Milei's economic proposals in Argentina reflect these objectivist principles. While advocating for a market-driven approach rooted in individual rights, the practical challenges of applying these principles in the complex reality of Argentina's economy are also acknowledged and examined. Javier Milei's economic agenda, inspired by objectivist principles, sets forth a radical transformation of Argentina's economic landscape. This chapter examines the expected outcomes of Milei's policies, along with the challenges and hurdles that may arise during their implementation. 1. Economic growth and efficiency. Milei's policies are expected to stimulate economic growth by fostering a more conducive environment for business and entrepreneurship. Deregulation and tax cuts could lead to increased investment, both domestic and foreign, and the creation of new jobs. Privatization of state-owned entities is anticipated to improve efficiency and service quality in various sectors. 2. Fiscal stability. By reducing government size and spending, Milei aims to achieve greater fiscal stability, addressing issues like inflation and public debt. The reduction in state expenditures is expected to alleviate the tax burden on citizens and businesses, potentially leading to higher disposable incomes. 3. Enhancement of individual freedom, aligning with objectivist values. These policies aim to enhance individual freedom by reducing government control and interference in economic activities. This shift is expected to foster a culture of self-reliance and personal responsibility. 4. Challenges in implementation, resistance from entrenched interests. Milei's proposals might face opposition from sectors that benefit from the current system, including public sector unions and businesses reliant on government contracts or subsidies. Social and political pushback. Significant changes in public services and employment could lead to social unrest or political backlash, especially in communities heavily dependent on government support. Transition management. The shift from a state-driven to a market-driven economy requires careful management to avoid economic disruptions and ensure a smooth transition for affected sectors and individuals. 5. Balancing economic freedom with social equity. While advocating for economic freedom and efficiency, these policies must also address issues of social equity and inclusion. Ensuring that vulnerable populations are not adversely affected and maintaining access to essential services are critical challenges. 6. Legal and institutional reforms. Implementing Milei's agenda may require significant legal and institutional reforms, presenting another layer of complexity. Navigating the legislative process and achieving the necessary consensus will be crucial for the successful implementation of these policies. 7. Global and regional context. Argentina's role in the global and regional economy must be considered, especially how these changes might affect its trade relations and international standing. The impact of these policies on Argentina's ability to respond to global economic trends and crises needs careful evaluation. In conclusion, while Javier Milei's economic policies hold the promise of revitalizing Argentina's economy through increased efficiency, growth, and individual freedom, they also present substantial challenges in terms of implementation, social equity, and political feasibility. This chapter provides a comprehensive analysis of the anticipated outcomes of Milei's agenda and the multifaceted challenges it faces, underscoring the need for a balanced and pragmatic approach to reform.